How's it going, everybody, to episode 16 of the ForbiddenCast. Hope you're having a wonderful Friday, as always. And, I think this is going to be a much more upbeat and fun episode. Because I didn't just wake up and am drenched in sweat and in a miserable mood. So I'm actually on a day off for once. So yeah, I'm in a much better mood than I have been, and I've also accomplished a few things. Well, I shouldn't say a few things, but I accomplished one thing. So a while back, whenever I moved into my apartment building, I had a electric drum kit set up and everything, and I had bought some foams and whatnot. I had like layered them, so I think I had like 2 or 3 layers of like these foams, so that I'm not just straight on the floor, so that my downstairs neighbors can hear everything that I'm doing. But eventually I was just kind of like, I put them away because I was playing my electric drum kit, and I just couldn't feel like I could like get into songs and play them properly because I just didn't want to annoy the shit out of my neighbors. So eventually I had packed it up and put them away and was just like, okay, I'm just not gonna bother, with it for now. But now, because I'm doing the second Celestial Quest album, I need to demo the drums out, and I could program drums, I can do that, and that's what I have been kind of doing. But the thing about programming drums is that it's like, there's certain beats and like feeling to like parts of songs that's like, it's just easier to, instead of translating it into like the exact like notations and everything, it's just easier to just kind of play it out, like it will have a much more natural and vibe, because I and on top of that, I need to be able to actually practice these songs for whenever I record them with the audio engineer later on this year. So, and that's coming up real quick too, because it's almost already the middle of April, and probably by the end of June is whenever I'm gonna actually record those songs. So it's like, I want to be really nice and well rehearsed, and have those demos done way in advance, so that whenever I jump into behind an actual kit in a studio kind of environment, I can just hopefully the goal is to nail them in a few takes, and then and then that be that, and then I can have the drum tracks, and then I just gotta record everything else. But because I had put away my electric drum kit and everything like that, it's like I didn't really have anything to practice on and to write the drum parts to. And I had watched a couple of videos and whatnot on like how to practice drums in a apartment kind of environment. And a lot of the times what would get brought up is like a little drum riser thing, that like a foam drum riser thing or something like that. And I had watched a bunch of videos where people had bought a couple planks, like a couple of bigger slabs of MDF board, and then put had drilled a couple holes in and put tennis balls as like a kind of cushion, and then put another layer of MDF board on top, and then still had like carpet and or whatever in between that, like kind of sandwich of MDF boards and tennis balls. And that's exactly what I did. So I went out, I bought myself 4 pieces of I don't even know what the dimensions are anymore, but like 4 large rectangular shaped pieces of MDF board, and then I bought like, how many tennis balls did I buy? Like overall I ended up using up 20 tennis balls, and I placed them all around the MDF board in a kind of more thoughtful manner, so that like wherever I'm going to be positioning the electric drum kit and myself, like I can have more support in certain areas and whatnot. And then I just kind of made myself a little mini drum riser. And then all the foams that I previously had, I have 2 layers of the, like, like by foams I mean like the big like puzzle piece kind of foams, like the squishy puzzle piece foams that some people might buy to work out with and whatnot. But yeah, so I have those. So I have 2 layers underneath the like MDF tennis ball, riser sandwich thing. So 2 foams underneath that, and then on top of that, I have 3 layers of foams, and then it's my drum kit, and I have like one like super small, little carpet underneath so that like my everything doesn't really slip around. And then yeah, so nothing. I never got a noise complaint, but I just wanted to try avoid that because I don't want to piss people off. Essentially, I really don't. I want that not to happen because I understand that things can be annoying sometimes, and I don't want to be the annoying person. I want to try to be as quiet and out of the way as possible. But yeah, so that's cool and exciting. Something new that I did, and I had to do it like throughout the week because all week I've been working and extremely exhausted. And actually, I had a really big scare the other day because I had came home from work, and as people know, I do a night shift thing, and just because of how exhausted I have been lately, I came home, and whenever I come home, I still, even though that it's in the morning, like it's 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, that's when I have my suppers. So I came home. I wanted to make some wings, just some not microwave wings, but oven, baked wings. I threw them in the oven, and my oven, I hate my oven's timer because it doesn't, not like most timers, like it'll still count down and everything, but it will only go off once. Like it'll make one big loud beep and that be it. It won't continuously do it until you turn it off or anything like that. It'll just keep doing it. It will just have one loud beep and then that's it. So here's my issue. I had put the wings in, and then as the wings were cooking, I just went and relaxed on the couch a little bit and put something on to watch, and then I'll continue watching it once the wings were done. This is where it really got silly, and I'm kind of really mad at myself for happening because it could have been way worse. Luckily, it wasn't. But I had fallen asleep on the couch because I was just so exhausted. So the wings were in the oven, but I had fallen asleep on the couch, and like I had mentioned before about the loud, kind of ring that my oven's timer does. It did the ring, like the timer went off, but the thing is, because it only went off the once, I guess I just slept completely through it, and I had slept for wings typically, like the way I I just follow like the box directions. It's like it's overall the cook time is 30 minutes. You put them in at a certain, usually like 400 or something like that. I like to have my wings kind of more crispier and dried out. That's kind of like how I like my wings, so I do raise the temperature a bit more than that. I usually cook them at 435 or something like that. And then I cook them a little bit longer. So typically what you do, you put them in for 15 minutes, and then you pull them out, you flip them, and then you put them back in for another 15 minutes, and then typically you pull them out and your wings are cooked and you're all good. And that's what I still do, but I have the temperature raised a little bit higher for mine, and then on top of that, I cook them a little longer. So instead of 15 minutes, I put them in for 17 minutes, and then I flip them, and then I put them back in for another 18 minutes or something. But it was after the flip had been made, that's when I fell asleep. And then luckily I woke up and something smelled really bad, and the entire apartment was foggy, and I was just like, what is going on? No fire alarms were going off or anything like that. But yeah, so that was going on, and I was just like, what is happening? And then immediately it clicked, after kind of came to my senses. It was just the wings are in the oven still. And I looked at the clock, and I fell asleep for an hour and a half. So on top of the basically the half hour that they're already in for, they're in the oven for another hour and a half that I fell asleep on the couch. Um, yeah, and the wings, obviously I pulled them out, and they're just completely black, and like they're literally just chunks of coal or charcoal or whatever. Like they weren't meat anymore. Um, and I'm really really happy, and I got extremely lucky that no fires occurred, because yeah, that could have been really really bad. But yeah, it completely smoked out my entire, like, my spot in the entire complex, like my apartment, like the room in my apartment, like it smoked that out completely. Like it's, the entire day we had to leave the windows open, um keep fans on just to blow out all the smoke and everything like that. We had like the above oven fan on and the bathroom fan on and everything like that. But yeah, and it didn't even, like, that's the thing, that's what's been the most scariest, if that's a proper way of saying that. But the scariest part about doing this job is just how, because of how tired I am, I keep getting like second winds, and because of that, whenever that second wind dies off, I just immediately crash and like am about to fall asleep. So if I'm not standing, if I'm sitting or something like that, like I will fall asleep where I am. Which is something that I should have been more conscious of while making something in the oven. But yeah, that was scary, and I'm going to completely avoid trying to have stuff in the oven, or use something that actually has a proper timer so that I don't just sleep through it. Because I know my phone timer, it will just keep going and going and going until I actually turn it off. So from now on, I have to always just use my phone timer, I guess. But yeah, no, that was really really scary. Could have been a lot worse, and I'm glad that it wasn't. Not a mistake that I will ever make twice. um, but yeah, so that was interesting. But on top of that, not too much exciting things going on other than being tired and still waiting for things to slowly start hopefully opening back up, at least things that I can buy, so that I can buy myself another fan. Because still at the moment we just got my girlfriend and I only got the one little tiny one for the bedroom. So fun, and having windows open. But yeah, but I had stumbled across today that Bud Light, the beer company, have started making seltzers. Now, like my buddy Tyler had called them, they're basically um, like ass versions of a White Claw, which is just like flavored seltzer. So it's like, imagine just basically like alcoholic fruit flavored fizzy water. Is it basically what it is? But I bought a variety pack of the Bud Light seltzers, and it came with what were the flavors? There's a mango one, just a black cherry, which I'm enjoying right now, and a strawberry and a citrus lime. And I gotta say, so far the black cherry is my favorite. I haven't tried the mango one yet, but out of all the three that I've tried so far, the black cherry is my favorite for sure. Obviously, I'm not sponsored to say this. I mean, hey Bud Light, if you want me to sponsor this, I will definitely. I don't mind. I don't mind Bud Lights. I just kind of drink beer. I do have a preference. Like I do like Heineken quite a bit. Like if I had the choice to pick out a beer, and Heineken was there, I definitely would pick that one out of anything else. But overall, if someone hands me a beer, I'm not gonna be like, oh, you drink that. Like I just no. Like I'm not that much of a snob when it comes to that. Same thing with like most alcohol. I'm not really a snob towards different sorts of whiskeys or rums or anything like that. I just don't like vodka in general. So it's like if someone hands me a drink with vodka in it, it better be super fruity and sweet, and it better not taste any of the alcohol at all, because it will just make me gag right away. But Yeah. I guess since it is pretty early in the episode already, I guess I could tell you I guess I can retell the story of why the smell of vodka immediately makes me gag. Let me take one more swig at this black cherry seltzer here, and then I'll tell you the story about that. So, as many people are, and I'm aware of this, um, as a very angsty teenager, and yeah, and I had a really rough high school experience, especially like the last 2 years. It was one of my most I guess depressive states that I had ever been in. Um, Specifically grade 12. I'm not sure. I mean, there was a lot to go into that, but I'm not going to go into all of that lame detail. I'm just going to go into to the story. So, imagine me being, how old would I have been? Like 16, 17 almost, something like that. Um, but yeah, so being that age, being very angsty, being like, at the time too, like especially the internet memes were very um I was one who was very into like Filthy Frank and all that, just like a lot of like I want to kill myself jokes and stuff like that. Like that's you know the type of humor that very edgy and like, oh, you can't say that sort of stuff, and but it made me laugh because it's stupid. It shouldn't be taken seriously. That's why it is funny. And I still do kind of have that same sense of humor, but to like maybe a little bit of a lesser extent. But yeah, so imagine me, and I'm also trying to tell you all this because it gives you like a mindset. It puts you in the same mindset as that I had whenever I was a teenager in this story that I'm about to tell. So imagine me with that kind of mindset, also kind of depressed and not really enjoying life and everything going on in it. Um, it was I think it was a summer. It was during the summer period, uh, but I had just woken up. There was a night. It was the night before. No, it wasn't the night before. The night before, whenever I woke up, I was on Discord drinking and hanging out and playing games with some of my buddies. Um, but yeah, and so I was already kind of like had alcohol in my system, and then I woke up, and at that time I never really got hungover because I don't know if I didn't drink enough or it's just because my body was just like absorbing everything and it was just still fine without getting hungover. Um, but yeah, so I did that, but then the next morning I just kind of woke up in a bad mood, you know, as you do as a you know sad boy. um, and then I had went upstairs, and it was only myself and my younger sister who were home. My parents were both at work, and I think my older sister was already moved out by this point already. So it was just us two, and it was like 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. I go upstairs to make myself breakfast, and again, being an angsty teenager, just complaining about stuff already, and then seeing a little note from my mom saying like, "Hey, can you guys do these chores for me today?" So like for me, she had left me like do the laundry and whatnot, fold the laundry and put another load in and whatnot, and do the dishes and everything. And then same thing for my younger sister, and that right away just pissed me off. Which is just like it should have. It should have been like, okay, whatever, just get that done and over with, and then I can enjoy the rest of my day. But then no, it of course, I had to blow it out of proportion and get all angry and pissy about it because I was a dumb, stupid idiot. So then I started doing it and being all frustrated and annoyed. And then I had remembered that my dad still had a little bit of whiskey and vodka left. Um, so again, I saw the note. I didn't even eat breakfast. I just went straight to go do the chores because I was just pissed off and I was just like, whatever, I'll get it done out of the way so I don't have to do any more of this stupid shit. And then did the laundry and whatnot, and then I had went back upstairs, and then remembered that there was the whiskey in the cupboard. I pulled it out, and I just started drinking it straight. just just straight out of the bottle. It was warm. It was like room temperature. It wasn't chilled or anything like that. Like, I didn't mix it with anything. I just drank it straight out of the bottle, just like that. Room temperature whiskey out of the bottle. Took a big glug of that. Went back to do some more chores. Came back. Every time I'd walk by the cupboard, just kept doing that. And then eventually, I just finished off the bottle, because it was maybe a little bit less than half full. I'm sure younger me would have said that. It was like, oh yeah, it was like, it was just opened, but no, like it was like a little more than, half full, a little less than half full. But yeah, so I just drank basically the rest. I no, not basically. I did drink the rest of the bottle just straight up. And then I had somehow finished all of my chores, I think, anyways. But yeah, so I was obviously feeling it, because I didn't even have anything in my stomach at this point either. Um, so yeah, and then eventually I had put on some music. Excuse me. I had put on Megadeth's second album, Peace Sells But Who's Buying, and I had it playing through the stereo, and it was still like maybe at this point it was like 9 o'clock, maybe 9:30 in the morning, and I just had cranked it like super loud, and I was just basically being an idiot around the house, and probably scaring shit out of my younger sister and everything, because again, she was home, and she was witnessing all of this basically. And I remember at one point too, just kind of completely just out of my mind, going up to her, just like, if you ever tell anybody about this, like, I'll fuck kill you or whatever. Just being angsty and stupid and being a mean older brother. But eventually, yeah, because I did finish the bottle of whiskey, which was actually easy enough to drink, I had moved on to a bottle of vodka that my dad also had. I think it was the Polar Ice vodka. I'm not sure exactly, but I had moved on to that, and vodka is way harder, for me anyways, way harder to drink just straight up, like a shot of it, than whiskey is, because it's just so, it just smells like alcohol, like whenever you open up like a thing of alcohol, it just smells exactly the same as that. Like, it's just so disgusting. So I started taking swigs out of that bottle next. And then I had went onto my computer somehow, and my buddy Dan was online on Discord, so I gave him a call, and yeah, and then he was just like, hey man, like, what are you doing up so early or whatever? No, he didn't say it like that. He was like, hey man, you good? Like, is everything all good? Because I was like, before I'd like sent him, like called him on Discord, I sent him a message saying like, dude, you're like a good guy, like you're a cool friend of mine and everything like that. You're just like a really like heartfelt message to him. I'm just completely drunk. And then yeah, and then he answers the call. He's like, hey man, you're like, you doing all right? And I was just like, nah man, like, I've been drinking all morning. It's like, again, it's only like 10 o'clock in the morning at this point. And then he's like, oh shit, like, are you home alone right now? I'm like, nah, my stupid younger sister's there or whatever. You're just, again, being a stupid teenager. And then yeah, so my buddy, and then eventually I was like, oh man, I didn't even eat breakfast, like I'm hungry, like I should go eat something. And he was like, yeah man, like, you really should, like, from how like fucked up you sound right now, like, you should definitely go have something to eat, I think. And so I'm just like, okay, yeah, like, I'll I got some cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes upstairs, I'll go eat those. And then supposedly, it didn't feel like it, but supposedly I was gone for like almost like a half hour to like an hour, at least a good 45 minutes or something. Is what I did is I went upstairs, I fumbled upstairs, ate an entire ate an entire thing of cherry tomatoes, and then as I went back downstairs to go like back onto the computer with my buddy Dan, I had just like thrown up everything in my system. I had thrown up everything in my system. Like I tried to make it to the bathroom, but like I think I missed the toilet. So like it's so stupid. It's so stupid. But yeah, it's like I just had thrown up everywhere. Um, so that I had to clean all that up. So like those cherry tomatoes that like I ate the entire like little clamshell of like just completely exited my body. And then I cleaned that all up. Um, and then I was just like I go back. Luckily enough, like Dan stayed on the call, and he was just like waiting for me to come back. And I was just like, I finally did come back, and I'm just like, hey man, like I ate all the tomatoes, and then I threw up. I'm gonna go lay down. And Dan was just like, yeah, man, that's probably a good idea, considering the situation. And I'm just like, yeah. And then I just like I don't know if I left a call or whatever, but like yeah, I just like ended up passing out. And then I think I woke up at one point at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon and just like threw up a bunch. And then had passed right back out. And then had woke up just feeling like garbage. Um uh and yeah, and then had to like take out like the disgusting throw up garbage bag that I had. Um, because that's what woke me up. It was like it was 4 in the afternoon, and either my dad or my mom had just came home, so like I had to like get rid of the evidence as quickly as I can. Even though it's like yeah, like you know, there's a couple of swigs out of the vodka bottle already gone, and like the rest of the Crown Royal was gone. But yeah, that was. I remember 1.2 specifically where my younger sister had just like while I was just basically being like a maniac because I was just drunk and had Megadeth playing in the household. I had like looked outside and she was just sitting on the trampoline like looking downwards, not knowing what to do. So yeah, that was I was kind of yeah, I was kind of self-destructive a little bit there. um yeah, but that was that was my one little teenage escapade as an idiot. So anyways, that's why I can't drink vodka anymore, because the vodka just kind of pushed me over the edge, and made me throw up. And that's why I don't like vodka, and probably won't ever like it again. Super fun. If you have any fun drinking stories, leave it in the comments below. Because other than that, I think it's time for the music recommendation, and I'll actually put everything in the description. Because what happened last week as well, if you hadn't noticed that nothing was in the description and there's no episode title or anything like that, it's because I recorded the episode and then uploaded it to YouTube and then scheduled it, but I didn't do anything because I had to run out for work really, really quickly. So like I just kind of like uploaded the video and then scheduled it and then didn't get the chance to like put it in the description and all that. And then yeah, and then I went to work and then came back home and then just basically went to bed and completely forgot that I had to still enter all that shit in. So hopefully by the point that this episode comes out, I had like re-entered all that. So if you want to go back and listen to that episode and find all the links to everything, that will be in the description. And hopefully this time I won't forget the description for this episode. So yeah, I'm recording this one well in advance, so it shouldn't be a problem. And then hopefully also I will have had another video out on Wednesday that you guys can check out, hopefully. But yeah, anyways, I hope this had been a lot better episode than last week's episode. Oh yeah, I still gotta give you the you know what, actually, because of that story, I want to recommend everybody checking out for this week's music recommendation, go listen to My Last Words by Megadeth off of their second album that was released in 1986, I want to say. I think it was 1986. I could be wrong. Not sure. But check out My Last Words by Megadeth. It is an amazing song. One of my favorite Dave Mustaine solos is in that song, and just the ending, just everything about that song is, to me, just is like masterful. It's what I inspire to write as a songwriter. It's such a good song. So much energy, so much just raw good times about that song. I love it. I love the mixing on that album. It is one of my all-time favorite sounding albums. It's just an amazing album. But yeah, My Last Words by Megadeth off of Peace Sells, But Who's Buying? Anyways, everybody, that will do it for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Give it a like and all that. I don't want to annoy everybody too much by saying all that, but as a YouTube content creator, I have to, unfortunately, because you just have to. Anyways, everybody, I hope you have yourself a wonderful day. I hope you're braving the heat as much as I am, and yeah, hopefully. Well, I guess I'll see you in the next video or in the next podcast episode. So goodbye, everybody. Take it easy, and I will be back.